Hello,
we're back in the hot seat, back in the studio. Welcome to another vlog. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, comment below.
If you like Lucy's red outfit, that's stunning.
Thank you very much. Comment below if you like George's brown outfit. Brown.
Brown, beige and boring.
Brown, beige and Georgian.
Anyway, every so often we like to make videos like this. We did one recently and you guys seem to enjoy them. So we've got another one here today. The topic is...
10. We've got 10 today. It's a big one. Okay. 10 culture shocks we've experienced being here in the Philippines. I do like to think that we are connoisseurs of Filipino culture.
Wow, you go that far now.
I'd say so. I feel
been
like
here a little while. We've travelled a lot.
We've experienced the country in so many different ways. Even back when we were travelling and from being here during the pandemic, I like to think that we've really got to know the country. I mean, we're never going to actually be Filipino, but I like to think that, I mean, people often comment that we're honorary Filipinos in how much we know about the country and how much we've explored it. So we today thought we would bring you a video that kind of talks through the 10 of the things. There's probably more that we could think of, and we'd love to hear the comments below if you think we've missed any important ones. But 10 things that we've found when we first came here were kind of a shock, but I guess that we're more used to now in being here. Exactly.
We've been inspired recently because on our reaction channel, if you haven't seen that, it's called Juicy Reacts, it's linked below. We reacted...
Very creative name there.
We reacted to a few videos like this. Yeah. Culture shocks of people coming to different countries and things like that. So we thought, we can make a video like that. Let's make our own. We got things on our mind that we can talk about. Yeah,
there's some that we agreed with from other people, so they might be sort of repeated in this video, but also some that we haven't heard anyone say yet. So we're excited for this one today. I've got a little, you're sat on my phone. Thank you very much.
All right.
Sat on the notes. I've just written down the little word for each one just so we can remember it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am. Number one.
So the first thing that was surprising to us is the faith here. Not that there is faith here and not that people are religious, more that how many people are religious compared to not religious versus in the UK.
And more or less from what we've seen, everybody is. Which you don't get in the UK. It's not as in everyday life in the UK.
True.
Obviously for religious people it is, but it's not as widely spread, I would say. I would say there are way more people in the UK that are not religious at all. Yeah,
there's a lot more atheists in the UK, and I know that there's Christianity is the biggest religion in the Philippines, but obviously a lot of other religions exactly the same as in England. But I feel like here people are talking about faith a lot more on a day-to-day basis.
I think growing up in England, there would be a lot of different religions within, say, a school class or your school that you went to. But from our personal experiences in our towns, I would say half or maybe over half were not religious at all.
And that's only who we've been around. That's the people that we've surrounded ourselves with and people that we know. Obviously, we don't know factually how correct this is, but we've just found that it was very much more apparent here. Everywhere you go, there's sort of religious quotes on the back of tricycles and jeepneys. You have quotes from the Bible.
We were even in a cafe or restaurant the other day, and there was kind of Bible quotes on the menu or put up on the wall. And even people in the Philippines interacting with us online often use religious language, even in their comments to us.
There's a lot more of that than I'd say we've experienced in England.
Now this one, a few of these things we have mentioned in our vlogs, but occasionally we like to sit down and put all these things into one condensed video like this. We also know a lot of people who are planning on visiting the Philippines watch these types of videos, or people who are planning to even move here.
Your hands are so funny. You're like this.
For those
people may be coming to, especially with the wide angle lens. Okay, can you push me back? Thanks. Oh.
So number 2 is the amount of people in stores. And I would say actually, working there, I would actually say this has changed during COVID. I think there's now a few less people. I think stores are now on more skeletal staff.
But it's still more than in England. But skeletal here is still more than in England.
2019, walk into Adidas, 7 or 8 people in there. Very, very helpful, asking if you need help. That someone will stay with you until you've found the products that you want and need and that is right for you.
Or that you've decided to leave the store. They'll literally walk you to the store exit, won't they?
Yeah, in a polite way. They're not like seeing you out. But so much so that we got used to this. We were surprised at first, but we got so used to this that when we went back to the UK once, we asked someone working in a shop.
Shop.
I can't even say the word shop anymore.
Shop.
Say store.
No, you have a thing with shop. Do you remember your sister? You told her and she was like, what? You were like, shop.
I can't say it.
Shop.
I can't say
shop.
it. We were in some kind of wellness store. We were looking for a particular vitamin or something. Yeah. And there was only one lady working there and we asked her for help.
She was the one that was also serving at the till and doing the stacking of the shelves. It's literally one person.
So we asked her and she came over to help us. She said, yeah, that kind of thing is in this area. And we were like, oh, okay. And we were kind of looking for the one.
We were looking.
And then we had another question. And by the time we turned around, she was gone.
She was was back at the till.
Because she had customers to serve, and that's normal in the UK. She's shown you the thing that you need to look at, and she's done her bit, and she's gone. But in the Philippines, they would stand next to you until you find the item that you need.
Yeah, we literally looked left and we were like, this is so rude. The woman's left already. We weren't finished.
Yeah.
That was so normal here.
We were more used to the Filipino way.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, number 3 is the amount of guns you see on a day-to-day basis. You literally walk around beautiful BGC, you're sort of taking in the sights.
Leave this building.
Oh yeah, and that. You literally walk around beautiful BGC, taking in all the sights. There's people eating breakfast outside in the sun, and then there's just some hench dude there with like a huge machine gun, just like, morning sir, morning ma'am. And that would never happen in England unless there was something going wrong, or maybe at airports, or if there was some sort of emergency where it was needed. Here, it's just very normal for people to have guns, like guards and policemen and women.
Even when you step outside of our building here, all our guards down here have guns. So yeah, you get used to it, but at first, it's kind of shocking. Yeah,
especially on beaches and stuff. You're on like beautiful islands and then some guy's got a gun. It makes you feel safer, I suppose, because you know you've got that kind of level of protection. But it does take some getting used to when you first get here.
25 years growing up in the UK, you just never really see a gun. So when you first see it,
it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it takes you back a little bit.
Maybe if you're American, it'd be different because there's a lot more guns in America, and like a lot of people in America have guns themselves.
Yeah.
So you maybe be more used to it. But for the two British people,
everything in this video is our personal experiences. Number 4 is something we learn about Filipino food early on, very early on, is that you eat with your hands.
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
If you start just getting sinigang and scooping out with your hand, you might get a funny look.
Yeah, or like in restaurants and things like that.
You can do it in some restaurants.
It depends on the
food
not
you're
all
eating.
restaurants. But if you're say you're on an island trip, you've got some food laid out, it would be very normal and appropriate to eat with your hands.
Yeah.
And in England, we don't really do this. I mean, you do a little bit, like chips, fries, finger food, fast food, you would eat with your hands. But definitely not rice.
No.
And definitely not chicken. Well, maybe chicken wings and stuff like that.
It's so funny because you do it in England a bit. Now we're saying it, but it's like only certain foods that you do in England. Here it's like more like normal food you'd eat with your hands, like you said, with rice and stuff, and there's like a technique where you scoop it and then use your thumb to put it into your mouth. I think we've told this story several times in the vlog, but I'll tell it a shortened version now. We were in El Nido on a boat trip. There were 4 British people and I think like 8 or 9 Filipinos, and you could really distinguish between the British and the Filipinos. For one thing, the guy on the boat was serving all the food and the 4 of us were like, hello, can we have some cutlery, please? And we sat there with spoon and fork and we were eating it.
We were like a week into being in the Philippines for the first time.
Yeah, if that. And then
we weren't too
obviously
used to it.
The Filipino family were kind of just reaching across and grabbing rice and using their hands to rip off parts of the fish and the prawns and things. And we were watching, we were like...
Yeah, fish. You wouldn't really use your hands for fish in the UK.
We were watching and we were like, oh, I think we're doing it wrong. Like, we felt like the aliens. We felt like idiots with our knife and fork.
With trying to use a knife and fork
and they
to eat rice.
They encouraged us and they were like, put the cutlery down. And we were like, okay, we'll use our hands and it's more fun.
And actually, even fork and a spoon is way more common in the Philippines than a knife and a fork.
That's actually one of the points, getting used to that.
Sorry, well there you go. We can skip ahead on that one.
I do think that eating with your hands makes you appreciate the food more because you feel the texture of it in your hands before in your mouth, if that makes sense. It's like,
I quite like it.
When you eat off a spoon, there's only so much, like it's off a bit of metal. I don't know, there's something about it being off your hand that it tastes better. I do not know why, but I swear it tastes better. Like, imagine eating a slice of pizza with a knife and fork. That's not as good as with your hands.
No, that's so true.
It's a different taste, I swear.
Yeah, true. Or a burger. Burger with a knife and fork. So sticking with a similar theme, number 5, street food.
Number 6.
Street food. We don't have really street food in the UK.
We do in a sense of like gourmet fancy sandwiches, or maybe like a burger van at a fun fair, or like in London you might see it, but it's never...
There's Borough Market in London with a lot of kind of food made on the street, but I wouldn't necessarily call it, like the Asian style street food is unique and it's awesome.
It's specific dishes. In England I find that they might do a street food van serving dishes, but in the Philippines, or in Asia really, there'll be specific items that you'll only find as street food, as opposed to just items that are like on the street.
We went in, I remember in Cebu, one of our first trips there, we went to kind of street food market, and so delicious. So many different foods you can try in one place.
Yeah.
And you just, I mean, pre-COVID, you just kind of grab it with your hands, like we just said. and you just enjoy and indulge, and you can try so many different things, and the price of this,
it's cheaper than restaurant
so
food.
cheap, and delicious.
You just get skewers, you get a lot of barbecue sticks, and you just say that one, that one, that one, and they grill it fresh for you. And then you want a drink, so you go to this thing where there's all these different fruit juices, and they'll just spoon it into a cup with some ice, and then you think, oh, now I want dessert, and there'll be like an ice cream thing, or
so good.
It's so good. I miss that so much.
Me too. There was an awesome one in BGC. It's sadly closed, but
there's kind of one now.
Do you remember we used to go there every once a week or something?
Yeah, very often.
So nice.
They've now done one in the high street in BGC, but it's more the restaurants in BGC have got stalls.
But it's more like English way of doing street food now.
Yeah, it's kind of more expensive. It's a bit more fancy food. It's not like the hardcore, like fun, not raw food,
but the real deal. You're trying to say genuine
street food, authentic. Yeah, it's not just like restaurant prices on the street. It's like I don't know. It's different.
Something else that surprised us about Filipino culture: malls and the opening hours of malls and the culture to go to malls in the evenings. And especially the coffee shops and cafes and things within shopping malls. People would be there long into the evenings, where I guess British people would be in pubs.
Imagine you're in England. Imagine you're sat at home in England and you think, I want to buy a white t-shirt because I want to wear a white t-shirt. It's 8 p.m. and you think, oh, I have to wait until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock when the shop's open. Here,
not in the Philippines.
Quarter to 10, this is pre-COVID, quarter to 10, get in the car, whiz down to SM Aura. Uniqlo is still open, and that is something that takes some getting used to. I feel like there's such more of an evening culture here, but saying that, often the malls, some malls won't open till 11 a.m. So they actually open later than in England. So if you need something in the morning, you're better off in England.
And all coffee shops and things like that in the UK, I would say they close at around 4, 5 or 6.
5 probably average.
5 probably being the most common closing time, but
like Starbucks, which shows at 5.
Yeah. In the Philippines, if you want a coffee at 10 p.m, you're good.
The drive-through near us has always got a queue outside of it, even at like 10 p.m. at night.
That was 24 hours before COVID.
Was it?
Yeah, and there was like 3 a.m. you go and get coffee.
So cool. I don't know what number we're on. I've kind of lost count. But the next one is festivals, and the fact that, again, pre-COVID, every single weekend in a province there will be a festival on.
Somewhere.
It could be Iloilo and Dinigang Festival, Sinulog in Cebu. There's countless festivals, even things like the Strawberry Festival in Baguio in La Trinidad.
The Mango Festival.
In Guimaras.
Yeah.
What else have we got? We know more than this.
There's so many.
Lanzones Festival in Camiguin.
Yes, we've been to all of these, and they're insane, and it's so nice to see a whole town coming together to celebrate.
Pop culture quiz.
Go on.
Bacolod's festival is called
Mascara Festival.
It's not mascara.
Yeah, that one, right? We've never been to that one.
Only because we were gonna go the next year because it was at the same time as Lanzones, and then COVID happened, so we couldn't. But we will one day. But yeah, there's so many different festivals here, and the culture of each province is so different, and it's celebrated individually.
Yeah, that's where you can start to see the micro cultures within the Philippines. If you come to the Philippines for a vacation, you'll have an awesome time, you'll soak up a bit of the culture, but you might have kind of an all-rounded view of the Philippines. But once you've spent some more time here like we have, and you start seeing individual towns and provinces, you start getting an idea of actually a lot of these towns and provinces have very different cultures from each other, and there's so many individual aspects of each place, and the festivals are a real example of that. Each town or province celebrating something specific about their area. Really, really cool to see that we didn't really have in the UK.
The next one is, I mean, you wanted to put this one in the list. I kind of disagree with you because it's definitely not a culture shock.
Controversial.
It's not a culture shock.
What
the weather.
It's
not
weather isn't necessarily culture, but I think hot weather encompasses the whole of the Philippines culture because everything's based around the weather in a way.
It's not.
Well, it kind of is. Think about it, like the beaches, the outdoor festivals, eating food on the street, like you can't do all that if it's cold and rainy and snowing.
I'd say the weather was more of a shock than a culture shock, but it was definitely shocking for us how hot it is, and it's so hot at the moment.
Still now, we're not, people ask at home, are you adjusted to it? And we kind of tell them, we are a little bit, but we still avoid going out. I mean, we went out today in midday sun and it's so hot.
Bad idea. Okay, the last one is the acceptance of vloggers and people doing online creative things.
Yeah, this is so awesome
starting new businesses online, like all these different kind of creative and I say like new things, I guess, because vlogging's not been around that long, but doing things on like social media.
I think it has now. Probably coming into like over 10 years of vloggers being around.
It's not like 100 years old, so that's what I'm saying.
And that makes what we do so much easier and so much more enjoyable and pleasurable to do it here, because if we start throwing a camera around and we're vlogging around Manila or Cebu or wherever we are on a beach and island around the Philippines on a road trip in the mountains, people seem to like the camera and they'll be willing to be on camera. They want to jump in the background and say hi, and we feel very confident and comfortable with vlogging in the Philippines because it is widely accepted and people are like, what's your channel? I want to subscribe and I want to check out your videos.
Very supportive and creative as a culture, and accepting is the right word, I think.
Totally. Whereas in the UK, I don't know, I think a lot of people still don't know, and people of a certain age as well, don't really know what vlogging is still, and they don't understand that it's just the new form of entertainment. People either switch on the TV or they switch on YouTube. And people enjoy watching vloggers these days. But some people, when you're walking around England, if you're walking around the street talking to a camera, you'll get a few funny looks. We've even had tuts and people getting a little bit annoyed and frustrated.
Telling us to stop filming, which is fine. It's completely fine, and we never get bothered by someone telling us to stop filming because it's totally up to them. We're not going to be like, why won't you let me vlog you? We're not like that as people, but we've rarely had that in the Philippines. I think a handful of times we've been told to stop filming. I mean, we accidentally filmed near an embassy. Well, we weren't filming, we just had a camera near an embassy. And we didn't know. It looked like we were trying to film it. We obviously weren't, and we got told to move on. And then a couple of times, fine. I think once in BGC, some guards said, can you stop filming, please? And maybe once in a shopping mall, we've been told to stop, but it's literally a handful of times. And the amount we've vlogged here versus the amount of times we've been told to stop vlogging, it shows how accepted it is.
And it's so cool to see because vlogging and online content creation, we've said it before, I love going online and consuming stuff that my friends have made or that people I admire have made of their real life and their real experiences. It's so awesome. Rather than just watching whatever's on TV, what's being fed to you, you can actually choose what you want to watch, who you want to engage with. And I think that is so important on social media to consume and watch the content you enjoy. Because what is the point in wasting your time watching people you wouldn't enjoy? So that is the end of this vlog. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Lucy's already kind of reclining back.
I'm done, yeah.
Are we ready? We're ready for our Sunday Netflix session.
Very warm.
So we will see you in the next one. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already for plenty more videos to come.
Bye.
Bye guys.